I got a little bit of news for y'all. It could relate to next year. It could relate to some DLC. It could totally relate to nothing. But nonetheless, it is worth talking about. I found out on Twitter by Fightful, they have a YouTube video as well. We'll link that down below. Jordynne Grace was doing an interview, and she basically said that she's been doing mocap for WWE 2K25. Now, recently we did get an article stating that WWE 2K25 was officially in development, which is very obvious. I mean, guys, they only get a couple months a year in the cycle to, successfully put out these games. So I'd assume they'd be, in the development cycle within 1 month of them dropping the previous game. This is huge news with Jordynne Grace mocapping and doing things like that. Do want to put it out there though, this is not unusual. This is something that happens because it's easier to get non-contracted talent to be, to mocap and get them in. I assume they probably have a little bit more free time. I don't know what correlates to what, but I think it is a really cool thing. Just to put it out there, in the past, we've seen other wrestlers do it as well. I've seen, I believe, Matt Cardona do some mocap. I've seen a couple wrestlers. I can't name them off the top of my head, but it does happen frequently. You look at the Wrestling Code, there's a couple wrestlers over on the Wrestling Code that do mocap as well. And, I just know that it happens with 25. I mean, you guys see the entrances that we get. LA Knight also mocapped at one point as well for the WWE 2K, and he wasn't even signed with WWE yet. So it seems like these wrestlers, they mocap for 2K and then they get signed under contract with WWE. I mean, it happened with LA Knight. I could see it happening again with Jordynne Grace, as a lot of people are super high. But where does this leave us? This is something that we've been talking about for months now, especially with the steps that WWE is going in. Is it possible that we can get WWE 2K25 featuring TNA? Boy, that would be freaking amazing if that was the case. Some sort of DLC, I don't know. In NXT TNA, we saw Jordynne Grace come out with a jacket that said NXT TNA. And hey, man, the sky is the limit for stuff like this. They did it with ECW back then. I believe it was SmackDown versus Raw 2008, and it basically said featuring ECW, even though ECW was already a WWE owned brand, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that it would be extremely cool to see, TNA, especially how high people are in Jordynne Grace. I think that she's gonna be great. You got wrestlers like Moose over there, who is the TNA champion, I believe. So seeing these wrestlers, in WWE 2K25 as maybe part of a DLC pack or something like that could be huge. The game being in development, I don't really consider that huge news, as I said before, because man, the game needs to be in development. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. But you look at Jordynne Grace mocapping, what could that mean? We don't know. It could mean nothing, like literally nothing at all. But you got to read in between the lines here. WWE is super high on her. She is wrestling on regular Tuesday episodes of NXT. She is wrestling the NXT Women's Champion for the title on the line. I mean, this is one of the craziest things we've seen with WWE and TNA. They are both just cooking together, and it's honestly fun to see, seeing two wrestling promotions get together and do some sort of storylines and stuff like that. I would love to see some sort of invasion angle in the future with TNA and WWE. AEW does it with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it's more just, matches, that, dream matches that we want to see, such as Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre. So you see those matches and they're just kind of like thrown together, but they're great matches at the end of the day. The pay-per-view always delivers. But what WWE is doing right now with stories and stuff like that, I even like them implementing, Dana Brooke, or I forgot her TNA name, no disrespect, but she came out in the middle of Jordynne Grace's match and got a little TV time. So I like what they're doing over on WWE, and I really can see some sort of DLC pack coming out at some point, next year. I don't think it'll happen this year, as DLC hardly ever changes, aside from Bad Bunny last year that we paid $10 for, or I didn't pay, but some people paid $10 for. So this could go many ways, man. She could either be mocapping or she could be, put in the next game. Who knows? But I think that it is a pretty cool piece of information worth talking about. And yeah, man, speaking about DLC, I have seen some hidden moves here on Twitter. I'm not going to put them on here, but if you are on Twitter, I'm sure you've seen hidden blades and stuff like that over on social media X. And man, I must say it looks pretty cool. Now, if these moves are hidden and they're attached to the new wrestlers that are coming out, such as Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk and those guys over on the Pat McAfee DLC pack, that would be super dope, because as you guys know, we're getting Post Malone, Sensational Sherry, and all of that in about 2 weeks from now. So I think that if we do get some of those hidden moves and they take this opportunity with this DLC to kind of shock us and say, hey, here are a bunch of new moves and some new entrances that you can use to personalize your character, or even use towards community creations of people that, you know, like Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I mean, man, listen, the sky is the limit. I think that pack can end up actually being good. I think all these packs can end up being good if they use the opportunity to put in new stuff to continue personalizing a lot of these superstars that we don't have in the game but are so well done because of people who know how to use the creation suite. There's a lot of potential with the DLC and the depth of the DLC, not the characters, because I think we can all agree we're all disappointed in the characters that they chose or the options that they chose. But I think nonetheless this could be extremely good for the game. I definitely just wanted to go on ahead and share that piece of information, talk a little bit about the DLC before we go on ahead and continue. There's a lot of stuff, man, that needs to be fixed with this next patch, but I do have faith that a lot of those things will be fixed. Hopefully we get a big patch for WWE 2K24, as there are a couple things that I can nitpick off the top of my head that, you know, need fixing, and the servers need an update, man. I tried to play a match, and you guys will see it soon. It was with a great content creator in Bashroll 2K. You guys stay tuned for his channel for the collaboration to come out soon on that. We tried to play online for another match, and the servers just kept going out. It just made the game unplayable. So 2K, please, I beg you, let's get those servers fixed, man, because I don't know. We still have 9 months left in this cycle of WWE 2K24, and it's a shame because the gameplay is enjoyable. Just imagine if we could go on ahead, play online, have fun, and do what we have to do, you know what I'm saying, without the game crashing out or just lagging us out the match. But hey, man, Jordan Grace in WWE 2K25, question mark. Will we see that? Will we see a couple more TNA wrestlers? As I think that we may be seeing more TNA in the future of WWE, and honestly in the very near future, just to go on ahead and highlight that it's happening soon. But make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video, as we're talking about some persona cards that we want to see join my faction. But make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Gameplay videos are coming soon. It is time to pivot, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna catch y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.